Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to join us in this edition of the 6 p.m. newscast on Equinox Television tonight. The removal of the ridge on some stretch of routes in the town of Buea ahead of President Biya's visit has been widely described by some Buea residents in the southwest region of the country as a principal death trap. And also in this newscast, we talk politics. Elekam Bochie, that is Fonkam Azu, has dismissed allegations that political parties are bound to pay dues in order to participate in upcoming twin elections in the country. These are headlines, details and more just in a moment. Well, thank you so much, viewers, for joining us tonight in this edition of the 6 p.m. newscast on Equinox Television. We begin right away in politics, precisely in Yaoundé Central region of the country, where the Elekam Bochie has declared as false allegations that political parties are obliged to pay dues to deposit documents ahead of the elections of councillors and members of parliament in the country. He was speaking to our reporters in Yaoundé Central region of the country, where Roland Akong reports.
Some political parties in Cameroon have petitioned Elekam, the elections management organ, over money asked by some authorities in the country for the issuance of some documents to be submitted for the upcoming twin elections.
Section 295 of the Electoral Code indicates clearly that for electoral matters, the documents issued by the courts should be free. It indicates also that the extract of the birth certificate, it is not the same thing as a copy. The extract of the birth certificate should be issued also free of charge.
Concerning the challenge to meet the deadline for Elekam to verify the thousands of files to be submitted by candidates for the twin elections and to get electoral materials ready, Samuel Fonkam Azu said, like in past elections, Elekam is poised to meet the challenge and give its best. It was during a courtesy visit of the Deputy Secretary General of the Commonwealth at the headquarters of Elekam to assess the level of preparedness by the body for the upcoming twin elections.
It is important for us to keep in touch. It is important for us to keep appraised of the developments that are going forward. And this was an opportunity for me to hear firsthand what is happening on the ground and how Elekam is getting ready for the next election.
We remain with you, Roland Akong, Yaoundé Central region of the country, to talk about the Yaoundé representative of the president of the Cameroonian Bar Association, who has warned that lawyers who are not properly dressed would not be allowed to have access into courtrooms in the country. This follows the improper dressing of by lawyers or by some lawyers in Cameroon today. And Roland Akong, in the following report, like I earlier indicated, takes a look at how properly lawyers are expected to dress.
This is how a lawyer with a French background is supposed to appear before a court.
What I'm putting on now is a pure French robe, but it's incomplete. It has a cap. So in the French system, they have the cap, but you can be dispensed of it because it has become archaic.
But in the English system, you have to wear the wig, the gown, a short collar, the bib, and a white shirt. And the English system is the one many people go a breach of.
Normally the wig, which we put, you see lawyers putting around, is precisely put before the court. So each time I have to enter the court, I wear my wig. But as I move out of the court, I hold it on hand. So that is principally what goes around the dressing of a lawyer.
But the dressing of the lawyer does not end here.
It equally extends to what he puts on inside. That is, you should have dark dresses, dark suit, dark shoes, and good colors. It should always be well fitted. That is the dressing of a lawyer.
The robe carries a lot of symbol to the lawyer.
I would say the robe to a lawyer is just like a cassock to a parish priest or a father. You know, it is what symbolizes who you are before the court. It's what gives you right of audience before a court. And it's what justifies your being a lawyer each time you're in a jurisdiction. Normally, you don't have right of audience, obviously, before a court. So I can come and ask for an adjournment because you are not properly dressed before the court. So you will not be able to address the court. You will not represent your client if you are not properly dressed. If you don't.
The representative of the president of the Cameroon Bar Council, in a recent release, warns that all lawyers who are not properly dressed will not have right of audience before any court. It is one of the ways by the new management of the bar to restore the lost dignity of the Cameroon Bar.
Thanks indeed, Roland Akong, for that package from Yaoundé Centre region of the country. Meantime, many Buea residents say that they have been living in fear and uncertainty following the removal of the ridge dividing what has been termed the President Bia's Boulevard. The move, which is in prelude to the president's visit in that part of the country, is said to have exposed the entire population to many cases of accidents. Derek Jato is a Buea-based correspondent.
The removal of the median along the Mile 17 police station roundabout stretch on the grounds to make way for President Paul Biya and his convoy when he comes for the 50th anniversary of Cameroon Reunification celebration, the Buea population say has instead made them to pay a price for a crime they did not commit.
You find taxi trying to overtake others. Some of them at times they move at the middle of the road, and it has increased the rate of accident.
It was rumored that this street will be demarcated by a white line with a zebra crossing lines indicating the spot that pedestrians are to cross and where vehicles are to turn. But that has remained a rumor. Though the drivers are aware of the risks involved, but driving recklessly is still practiced by many on the pretext that they are new to this system. Bike riders that were never seen in Buea town before now are using this middle part of the road as their own lane under the watchful eyes of all, while waiting on the power that be for intervention. The Buea city dwellers have adopted a new way of crossing the road. You must be fast, look left and right, and cross without a halt at the middle of the road, which is described as a tongue of the deadly trap.
Meantime, the native language, which is said to act as a bridge between the language spoken in school and that which is being spoken at home, has gained a center stage during these summer holidays. Some children in the littoral region have chosen to learn how to speak their mother tongue during these holidays, and most say that it is important to know their native languages. And for Hansen Chanji, who visited some of those training centers here in the economic capital, Douala, compiled the following report.
Speaking the mother tongue, especially to those who were born out of the village and those who have been away for some time, is one of the major challenges families are trying to overcome. During this summer holiday, some children from the Sawa clan are occupying themselves in learning their mother tongue called Douala.
I came here to learn Douala because it is my traditional language. To know the tradition, it is very important. That is why I came here. Nasom mama, nasom papa. Idibabwa makom mam. It means that good morning, my friends.
The refrain of the national anthem in Menjimba of Nende division from the western region of Cameroon after day one of intensive learning is an indication that the learners are here for business. Children and even grown-ups are determined to learn the Menjimba, a mother tongue of the 4 subdivisions in Nende, including Bangante, Bazu, Ntonga, and Basamba.
I'm here to learn how to speak Menjuba with my father and mother. I'm happy to be here, and I will learn it and speak with him every time, and go to the village and learn more again. In Menjuba, to say good morning, you say Uzia, and the person responds Ande.
The importance of speaking the mother tongue in the society cannot be overemphasized.
We have to maintain our culture. That's why we think that here in Douala and in other cities, we have to push our children to learn and invite the parents when they are back home to continue to try to speak with them, to have them get the use of the language.
The children are here to learn the Menjimba language. The teaching of the Menjimba language to these children is a means to fight the advent of foreign languages, such as the English and French. This is in a bid to preserve the culture of the people. Bo Dallas Chana, Mebuya for Hansen Chanji, Equinox Television.
Thanks indeed for Hansen Chanji for that report. Latest information from the South African presidency. We are now out of Cameroon. Says that Nelson Mandela remains critically ill but in stable condition in a South African hospital. A statement from Jacob Zuma thanked those who had sent messages of support from South Africa and around the world. Family members of the anti-apartheid icon are planning to celebrate his life during his 95th birthday, that is going to be on the 18th of July 2013. Nelson Mandela has been admitted in hospital that was since the 8th of June 2013 following a recurring lung infection. And on our Victoria page tonight, residents of Mbiame in the Bui division of the Northwest region of Cameroon have received free consultations and treatments from scores of international specialists. The gesture, spearheaded by the mayor of the Mbiame Municipal Council, that is Bensa Fidelis, seeks to remedy the health problems of some of the local residents who could not afford for treatment in hospitals. Some of the Mbiame residents have termed the gesture as timely. Details in the following report.
A healthy population brings healthy development, while a healthy mind lives in a healthy society. Reason why in the Northwest region, all roads were leading to Mbiame Bui division for a free consultation operation and drug distribution to the population of Mbiame and neighboring villages. A crack team of medical personnel with 8 expatriates, specialized medical care, dentists, ophthalmologists, and a surgeon. This laudable initiative of Mr. Bensa Fidelis Fonui, the mayor of Mbiame Council, saw joy and happiness amongst the people, men and women, boys and girls, the old and the young, struggling to table their health problems. Some beneficiaries of the free exercise could not hide their feelings.
People in our village, they have been sick for so many years, and some are very, very poor. They don't have the means to go to the hospital. But when the mayor comes out with this exercise, they were very, very happy because they know that they will get well.
This exercise is very, very timely and highly applaudable to the society in Mbiame here, because there are people, there are parents and children who stay back at home and they don't have this opportunity, given the enclavement nature of Mbiame.
The deal from Van Subdivision, Mr. Wucho Samuel Law, was also part of the free consultation exercise.
The impact is going to be very great because you see the population, people are sick. And when you look at the turnout, you see that really people are in difficulties. And until you make this type of gesture, people will always complain they don't have money to consult. And when they say the here is free.
Mayor Bensa Fidelis, with his goal of development, presented and handed some modern hospital beds and mattresses to the Mbiame District Hospital through Dr. Bungwa Chris.
I saw the need, and particularly, Mbiame has a lot of difficulties, and particularly in the domain of health. So this is just one of the actions that we've been making to make sure that we ameliorate the conditions of our patients here in our hospital. I believe that this is just the beginning. So if they use it properly too, we will be motivated to bring more.
In reaction, Dr. Mbungwa Chris of the Mbiame District Hospital.
It's really a very, very good gesture. Taking into consideration the very old structures that we have here. We see things like this. The thing is that it's even a surprise to me, even if I was expecting better from the mayor, not of this quality.
An initiative first of its kind in the Northwest region.
And that does it for this segment of the news. Up next is Talking Point. We thank you so much, viewers, for joining us tonight on Talking Point. We are further going to talk about the crisis or the chaos unrest that is plaguing the Middle East, precisely in Egypt. Our guest tonight is a political analyst. Good evening to you, Mr. Yam Timba, Dominic, and thank you so much for joining us tonight on Talking Point.
Thank you.
Like I earlier said last week, Egypt saw its fifth president deposed in a military coup that was organized, and it has been going on for days now in that part of the Middle East. And this is coming barely 1 year after he rose to power. He rose to power on the 30th of June. That was in 2012, and he is the first democratically elected president-elect of Egypt. So what might have caused why should Egyptians that democratically voted for a leader rise? Why should they rise against him?
I don't think that it is that the Egyptians are rising against their elected president. No, that's not the point. You should know that this is a political phenomenon well known by historians and political specialists. It is a counter-revolution. It means that it happened in 1905 with the first revolution of Lenin in Russia. It was called Russia in those days. So it is a counter-revolution. The people has brought revolution into a country, won the power, placed someone democratically in power, but there are interests that are working behind, that are working silently, and who were organizing these counter-revolutions during 12 months because they don't agree to see these Muslim brothers in power. So it is not the power, it is not the people, it is exactly those who were opposed to Morsi, and he didn't took time, and his political party neither think about how to protect the power they have conquered. So it is perfectly understandable for political analysts. It is not the people, it is the opposition, those who were opposed to Morsi and their support from abroad who have made this counter-revolution.
Why should, what is strategic about Egypt? You earlier talked about interest, and so far you have talked about maybe support or influence from some external powers. What's the strategic importance of Egypt to have caused foreign powers to maybe give a helping hand to the military to topple the government of Mohamed Morsi?
This is the situation of Egypt. You have this Suez Way, and you should know that there is 2 million barrels of oil that pass from this place every day, and it means there are billions of dollars just using this way each day. And if you compute all this, you will see that there is something like $4,000 billion just using this way each year. It means that there is 1,000 years of the budget of Cameroon that is passing from there. And the people who have all these products are not Egyptians. They are mostly the Western nations who want to control this way. So the other thing to consider is that Egypt you have the Muslim Brothers who are linked to Hezbollah, who are linked to Hamas, and all these people are those who are struggling, fighting with the United States for the security of Israel or for the independence of Palestine. So these people are linked to Bashar al-Assad, they are linked to Iran, and you see that for the European nations and for the Western nations, they just can't put up with a president from the Muslim Brothers. And you should take all these into account, even if you can see that maybe they were saying at the eve of the revolution that they support Morsi. They were not supporting him. They sent him to Iran to say that Bashar al-Assad should go, to say that Iran should stop nuclear development. I don't know what it's really exactly about, but this was just people were not seeing exactly
Could it not be
on.
possible that yes, of course, President Morsi was a democratically elected president.
Yes.
Then later on, as reports say, he started pursuing, or some months after he started pursuing some Islamist agenda. As a result of that, could we not say that it could be some of the reasons for his downfall?
No. Listen. Look at Saudi Arabia. It is.
And his unfavorable economic policies as well.
Yes, of course. Look at what is happening. What I've said is that maybe what is sure that I don't agree with Mr. Morsi with the fact that religion should be the foundation of political action because of all the unacceptable things that can be done in the name of religion. But you cannot change in 1 year a country that has been ruled by militaries during 60 years. You can't. So people cannot say that because we're pursuing a Muslim agenda, he has a choice. Why do you think that there are some other people coming from some other countries that should decide the way people should run their countries? So I don't think there was really a great change Morsi brought in Egypt. But the fact that he was democratically elected, and by the fact that the United Nations defends democracy, this counter-revolution should never have happened. But I told you that there are very, very important interests involving Israel, the United States, Syria, Palestine, Iran, and Saudi Arabia that put all this together. And when you put all this together, you can understand why Morsi is no more president today and when the army has done this coup. People don't call it coup d'etat, but it is a coup d'etat that was going on in Egypt.
Let's take a look at the role of the military here. We see the military is playing a very, very vital role in spearheading. It played a very vital role in spearheading the topple or the hoisting of Mohamed Morsi from power. So what might have pushed the military, like you earlier said, maybe from sending or deposing a leader from the president from his post?
Many things. The first is the American contribution to the security of Egypt, more than $1 billion each year. And this money was controlled, managed, used by the army. But since the Muslim Brothers came to power, they said this money should be used for something else, not directly by the army, because they have other challenges that they have to tackle. So this army is so close to the Western interest that sometimes maybe they can fight their own people. And you should understand this other thing, that the situation of Egypt is not necessarily a situation that could hinder the security of the region. But the fact is that if the military wants to, if they want to keep their relations with the Western military armies like the Army of the United States, they have to do what they have been ordered to do. Because when you elect democratically a president, for us in Africa, it is just something we can't understand, that after that you have a counter-revolution. But I told you, this is something that can be understood because it has already happened in the history.
Now, what security and what democracy does foreign powers want to put in place, or the military want to put in place in Egypt?
They will
when
do nothing.
We are seeing so many lives being lost on a daily basis. So far, over 50 people have died already.
They will do nothing. It will be only authoritarianism that will rule Egypt. So the army will be ruling the country, but will put 1 or 2 people in front, or they will go into civil war. And more we see the signs of civil war, because it is very, very dangerous when people are claiming something on the religious basis, and the Muslim brothers are claiming the power on religious basis. So sometimes we will just hear that they are talking about terrorism, and I think army is already calling the Muslim brothers terrorists. I don't know why they are calling them terrorists, and something else, you should understand that this army is not really prepared to rule Egypt in the new configuration of Egypt today. And I appreciate the fact that Mr. Mohamed Al-Baradei said you cannot organize Egypt in the future without these Muslim brothers. So the army should not think that power will rule Egypt, will bring peace to Egypt. No, it is discussions, it is democracy, and they should
chaos still continues even after the installation of an interim president.
They have installed an interim president. They can remove him and install someone else. But what should be done, and I guess that if there is no political solution in Egypt in the coming days, maybe we will find ourselves with a civil war in Egypt, and we are still waiting. We had a communique from the African Union. We are still waiting the action that African Union will
African Union has so far suspended Egypt. What's your reaction as well?
I was talking about their communique, but it's not enough. It is not just saying we have suspended Egypt. Egyptians are Africans, okay? If you suspend Egypt, it is you have suspended a country, but you should take care of the population. You should take care of the Egyptians who are Africans and see how to solve the problems they are facing.
So what's your evaluation on how the African Union is handling the crisis in Egypt?
I think it is poor. Their handling of the crisis is poor, and they have always been poor. They always did things in this poor manner. It is not only talking. You should go in Egypt. You should send people. They have nominated. They have told Mr. The former president of Mali to as mediator. But Africa should understand that it is time now to be more organized, to be more structured, and to put a lot of money in organizing the country. Because today it is Egypt. Tomorrow it will be which other country?
So now the crisis in Egypt is actually far from being over, considering what is happening.
Really far, and maybe what Africans should do is to go to Egypt, discuss with Egypt, try to organize discussions between Egyptians and tell them that Egypt is one of the most important countries of Africa, and we are not happy to see what is happening there.
Thank you so much, Mr. Yam Timba Dominic, for joining us tonight on Talking Point, a political analyst too, talking there about the ongoing crisis in Egypt. So many people, or tens of lives, have so far been lost after President Mohamed Morsi was ousted from power. And that does it for this edition of the Primetime Newscast on Equinox Television. We thank you so much for your keen attention. Join Etienne Pascal Azegi at exactly 8 p.m. for the French version of the news. Meantime, have a wonderful stay in the company of our programs. Good evening once again.